Show that.
And we got Tom back with us this morning. Dan, we missed seeing you on. You used to be a regular up here now.
Well, I've just been away most of the time. You know, when you're in session, it's hard to.
Now, was this was your first session or second one?
Second session.
Second.
Well, actually, see, we had two sessions. The first year I was elected, we 3 or 4 weeks after we were elected, went into special session. Then we had the regular session. And then we had the regular session this year and a special session at the end of it. So I actually been through 4 sessions.
Are you happy, disappointed, or is it what you thought it would be?
I've enjoyed it, but you know, I've been involved in local politics, which is nonpartisan politics, for close to 30 years. But when you go from nonpartisan politics to partisan politics, it's just like daylight and dark. It's just like the difference between you and Gary Dobb. You know, you're so
well, that's a big difference.
That's a big difference. The thing about nonpartisan politics, when I was mayor, you could do things so much easier. People could sit down. You didn't have that Republican and Democrat hanging over anything. And you could sit down with people. You could come up with things, and you know, everybody sort of liked the mayor. I mean, you could ingratiate yourself to people because you were here, you're one of them. But when you leave that atmosphere and go in and you put R or D behind your name, then you've alienated, or you become a part of a group that's not in
dislikes you.
Yeah, it's dysfunctional at times. And it doesn't matter which group you go in, the other group doesn't really like
and up until just a few years ago, the Democrats controlled all this for 100 years, right?
136 years they've controlled the House and the Senate, and most of the time the governorship. But in 2010, that election came about and totally turned the House and the Senate upside down, not with just a majority, but with supermajority. So the Republicans went in. We went in 2010. You can do what you want to.
Let's talk about, Tom was asking you some questions earlier. Rick Moe, and I talked with Rick yesterday. He said, be sure to ask Dan. He said, you were very instrumental on helping get Athens State a board of trustees, and you were giving us information I didn't know about. You said people got dang right ugly about not letting Athens State have a board of trustees.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of competition between universities and higher universities in the state of Alabama. And this was really something that was unheard of for a piece of legislation like this to be introduced one year and get passed during that year. Most pieces of legislation of that magnitude, it takes years. It takes years to do it. You have to come back and come back and come back. Well, this was introduced, and I reckon the planets were just lined up right. And but I'm going to tell you what, it went down to the wire. I mean, it went down to, when that thing finally passed, it was 10:30 at night on the last day.
Goodness.
Then it went to the governor's office, and he sent it back with an amendment to it, an executive amendment, thinking, I think, in my opinion, that would kill it. Well, we took it and accepted the amendments and got it passed back. So
what does this mean for Athens State having its own board of trustees? I know UNA's got board of trustees. All the four-year colleges do, right?
All major universities in the state of Alabama have a board of trustees. The junior colleges doesn't. So from the inception of Athens State being taken over by the state several years ago, 1975, I think, they've been under the State Board of Education and the Department of Post-Secondary Education as a 2-year junior college. They were the upper level. And they wanted to come out from under the State Board of Education and the Department of Post-Secondary Education and just be subject to the Alabama Commission on Higher Education, like Alabama and Auburn and all these other universities. And that way they could sort of plan for their future, you know, make their own decisions. They didn't have 3 agencies to go through. Now they just have the one. And so there were universities that were trying to keep them from becoming like them because they're afraid they'll turn into another 4-year institution, and there's a competition.
Could that possibly happen?
No, it's not going to happen. Matter of fact, that's part of the legislation.
Okay.
They'll remain.
There'll always be a 2-year
upper level.
upper
Now
level.
that could change in the future if the legislation gets changed.
Right.
But I think as long as the current Speaker of the House and all those folks are down there, we're not going to try that.
All right, let's talk about what the biggest thing in the session, the redistricting.
That was a big thing that was done after the regular session. It went into special session to do it. Redistricting has to be done every 10 years, and the
All across the nation, not just Alabama.
all across the nation. And you do the congressional redistricting, you do the state legislative redistricting, you do county commission redistricting, and you do city council redistricting. So that has to be done.
Well,
and Limestone County is sort of unique. I think it's the second fastest growing county population-wise in the state of Alabama, and we have grown since 2000. So in 10 years, we've increased the population, so it has to be readjusted. And my situation, I had to lose 5,000 or 6,000 constituents. Bill Holtzclaw had to lose 40,000. Mac McCutcheon, everyone in Limestone County, Madison County, Morgan County had to lose. Mm-hmm. So you've got 105 seats in the legislature. Now you can't add seats. What you have to do is readjust the population to those 105 seats. So as we get smaller geographically in Limestone County and Madison and Morgan because of the population, then down in the southwest Alabama where the population is not too intense, then the areas actually get larger. And where I have the city of Athens and maybe a third or more of Limestone County in my district, there are representatives of South Alabama that maybe has 5 counties.
Well, how come people ain't happy? And let me share with you a little bit of a letter from our friend Bill Dunlap, my next door neighbor. And this was several weeks ago, and I've shared it with y'all in the News Courier on a Sunday. So this is how you reward the fastest growing county in Alabama. You demote them. You've been reading the stories from Alabama Real Pros, which y'all passed. You would think with Limestone County's growth record in the state, we would be rewarded with our own senator and 2 full representatives. But instead, Limestone County is being divvied out to whichever neighbor wants a part of us. He said, I won't read the whole thing, but he said, let's just call this what it really is, the neutering of Limestone County. He said, in essence, Madison Morgan representatives have been they've been stealing our property, basically. And he goes on to say other things here. This is monumental time in our county's history, Dan. We can disagree about many things, but one thing we should all unite on is not fair to Limestone's equal representation in Montgomery.
Well,
and a lot of people agree with it. Mayor Ronnie Marks, Sheriff Mike Blakely, and a lot of other folks agree with this letter that Bill wrote.
I would probably, that would be my first way that we should have Limestone County set up. I agree with that. But first of all, now the taking of property, annexation and everything from Huntsville, Madison, Decatur is not a result of reapportionment. That's just
smart move on their part.
The law has allowed it, and that's what they're doing. Right. They're moving in that. But the problem comes when you try to fit the population within those 105 districts. And it would be good if we had 2 representatives, myself and 1 more. And you have to have, I think this was around 45,000 people in your district, which I have. So there's the population of Limestone County is not but 80. So you
have 45,000 people in your district?
Yes, sir. And
what did you have before?
It was about 40.
Okay, so you
48 or something.
So you got back the same.
Some.
Okay.
And everyone in Limestone County had to lose some. So what it is, when you put 45 here and 45 there, you got to get some from another county to do it. And the bottom line is Limestone County, if this reapportionment is approved by the Justice Department, we will have 5 representatives and we'll have 3 senators representing Limestone County. Now,
but now here's Bill's number 1 point. Now, he said, though, unlike if you had just 2 guys, just you 2, if there's something wants to be approved, y'all approve it. Now you got to have all 5 or 8 people here have to come together. If there's one single person that doesn't want that, well, you understand, Tom, it's out.
Well, that's true, but now you take care of things like that on down the road because somebody's got to have a vote at some time. Somebody's got to have your cooperation and everything. Now, we've had 3 representatives and 2 senators. That's a total of 5 for the past several years, and there never has been a problem with local legislation getting passed. You know, during the time Tom Butler was one of the senators, Mac McCutcheon, Mickey Hammonds, there wasn't a problem there. Now, the 2 new representatives that will come into Limestone County as a result of this is Lynn Greer, who lives just right past Lehigh Bridge. Okay, and he'll come in and take a big portion of my old district in the West Limestone area. Phil Williams, who's in North Madison, will come over and take the city of Ardmore, basically, and then right down the county line. And
I bet he ain't never even been to Ardmore.
Oh yeah, Phil.
We ran into him in Orlando at the airport.
The good thing about this, Lynn Greer, very well acquainted with Limestone County. He knows the people.
He owns some apartment buildings here too.
And he's a businessman. Right. He does that, and he's been in the legislature. Like this is the 4th time.
Yeah.
He knows the ropes, and he's on some very important committees. He's on the Rules Committee and everything, so he's going to be able to help. Phil Williams is an outstanding legislator when it comes to educational issues. Phil Williams is a highly successful businessman in the high-tech area. I mean, this guy's, it's amazing what he's done. And his number one thing is improving education. So he's going to be good for us. And another thing he's good, he plays a mean rock and roll guitar.
Does he?
He's a great musician.
He's a big Bama fan too.
That we know.
And Phil Williams is a musician.
Oh yeah, he's an outstanding. But then this is the important thing. The Senate district that Tammy Irons has been stretched across.
And she ain't happy.
She's not happy because she's not going to be able to be elected to that district as a Democrat. And to me, this is the first opportunity that we've had in years to possibly elect a senator from Limestone County to represent that area. Okay. And I believe it's
Is that something you may be interested in?
Well, I'm interested in it, but I'm not particularly just interested in being in the Senate, but I'm interested in someone from Limestone County being in that Senate seat.
Well, let me ask you a question that is on a lot of people's mind every time I'm out as we get ready to go to municipal qualifications coming up. I think that day we have our party 2 weeks from today. Is there any truth to the rumor you plan on seeking your old job as mayor of the city of Athens and running against current mayor Ronnie Marks?
Well,
put it to bed right here, right now.
Well, you're
pausing on me, Dan.
I have had encouragement to do that, but I'm sort of happy where I'm at. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of things that still got to be done in the state of Alabama to keep us afloat. I didn't realize the condition our state was in until I've been down there. And
are you saying you are considering running for mayor of Athens? Or are you saying you're not going to?
I'm going to say I could run. I don't know when the last day to qualify.
Whatever that day is up here, June 30th or whatever it is.
If June 30th goes by without me qualifying,
so you'll make an announcement that day on the show. That's the first day of qualifying. 2 weeks from today.
Well, I don't know. It may be. One thing you never say never about anything in politics, and
so you could run for mayor and seek your old job. I mean, you've never lost an election.
Tom could run.
I'm thinking about announcing too.
Well, I ran for probate judge, so nothing's out of the stretch here.
Well, some things are just.
Hey, let me do a quick ad for Landers McClarty. Don't forget Father's Day special. Landers McClarty right down the road. All 7 to 8 dealerships right there. Chevrolet. Hey, if y'all gonna buy anything, go down and see my buddies at Landers McClarty. They're a big client of ours, and go by and visit them all over there and tell them all we said. Welcome to Athens, Alabama. Drive you a new vehicle back over, whether it be a Chevrolet, Jeep, Nissan, Fiat, or whatever.
And if you see Clay say something about the Jamie Cooper or the show, and you get $500
extra dollars off. Hey, don't forget movies that come out today. Rock of Ages with Tom Cruise playing an aging rock and roller comes out, got pretty good ratings. A new movie called Your Satisfaction Guaranteed got 4 out of 4 stars. It's kind of relatively unknown, and one Corey said he had to go see was That's My Boy is a stinker with Adam Sandler. It only got like a half a star. in the movie review. Now that I've given you all the stuff this morning.
That's right.
Back to that question, Dan.
Well,
You're not going to give me an answer.
I think he said that he was going to be a senator or something earlier.
No, I'm not.
He said he might consider that position.
But I tell you what, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be talking with some people here in Limestone County that I think would make a good senator.
Well, are you pleased the way what you had to deal with in Montgomery? I'm running out of time here, but are you pleased with it?
I'm pleased with it, but it's a difficult thing to do.
Do you miss the city of Athens on a daily basis and have everybody at your fingertips?
I sure do. Being mayor was a whole lot more fun than, you had perks.
So you're running again?
No. But I'm going to find somebody to run for senator. Bill Donovan's one person I'm going to talk to about it.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Well, Bill wants to.
Bill would be as good as you could get in that position.
Yes, he would.
All right, y'all go have a happy Father's Day. Maybe Mac can get you something good. We'll
I hope so.
Dan, thanks for coming up. Look forward to seeing you back in 2 weeks on our barbecue show here. Matthew, chickens, go.
July 13th,
Cow Day,
Cow
don't forget.
Appreciation Day.
Don't get that bathroom report over there. Oh, we got to get out here. Don't forget they're walking over Niagara Falls tonight. We'll see y'all bright and early
that's right, they
Tuesday
do.
morning. Watch your Country Rovers on Monday. We got to go. See y'all.
Bye-bye.